My dear brothers and sisters, imagine for a moment you stand in a forgotten chamber, dust swirling in the faint light, and there, hidden beneath centuries of silence, you uncover a book. Not just any book, but one so profound, so unsettling that it was once cast into flames in public squares. Why? Because it dares to reveal, step by step, what unfolds when your heart ceases to beat. This is not merely a tale of life after death, it is a journey, a sacred pilgrimage of the soul through 31 days of transformation. A journey that echoes in the ancient tombs of Egypt, the sacred codices of the Aztecs, and the hidden manuscripts of alchemists. Today, I invite you to walk with me, not to fear death, but to embrace its mystery, for in understanding it, we learn how to truly live. Let us begin with the first day, the moment of separation. When the final breath leaves the body, it is not an abrupt end, but the gentle unwinding of a sacred thread. The scriptures speak of this in Ecclesiastes, where the silver cord is loosed, the delicate bond that tethers the spirit to the flesh. In that instant, the soul steps forth, free yet bewildered, gazing upon its own form, now still and silent. Imagine the wonder, the strangeness of this liberation. No more pain, no more weight of the body, only the lightness of being. Yet there is confusion, for the soul still clings to the life it knew. It sees loved ones weeping, hears their cries, but its voice cannot reach them. Its hands pass through the air, unable to touch. This, my friends, is the first step of the journey, a moment of vulnerability where denial and longing wrestle within. But you are not alone. Even in this delicate hour, the presence of divine companions surrounds you, unseen yet ever watchful. These spiritual guides, like the angels spoken of in Psalm 91, stand ready to protect and guide. For those whose passing was sudden or filled with fear, this moment may tremble with resistance. But for those who lived with faith, who prepared their hearts through prayer and surrender, the separation is serene, like a leaf falling gently to the earth. This first day teaches us a profound truth: how we live shapes how we leave. A life rooted in love, in forgiveness, in trust in God's mercy makes this transition not a rupture, but a gentle crossing. Let us reflect, then, what attachments do we hold that might weigh us down when the time comes to let go? As the soul moves forward, days 2 to 4 bring a deeper awakening, the recognition of death itself. This is no simple realization, for the soul still feels alive, vibrant with memory and thought. It walks familiar paths, visits cherished places, yet finds the world changed, as if made of mist. People pass by, unaware of its presence. Animals no longer turn their heads. The soul may linger at its own funeral, watching as the body is laid to rest, feeling an ache that is no longer of the flesh but of the heart. This is a time of reckoning where the truth dawns in waves: I am no longer of this world. Some resist, crying out in vain, reliving their final moments as if to undo them. Others fall silent, numb, refusing to accept what is. Yet, even in this turmoil, there is grace. The prayers of the living, the candles lit in love, the rituals of faith, these are not mere gestures. They are bridges of light reaching across the veil to comfort and guide. In our Catholic tradition, we honor the first 3 days with masses and prayers, knowing that these acts ripple into the spiritual realm, easing the soul's passage. The Book of Wisdom reminds us that the souls of the righteous are in the hand of God, and our love, expressed through prayer, helps them find peace. This stage calls us to act with compassion for those who have departed, to lift them up with our faith, and to prepare our own hearts for the day when we, too, will face this truth. Let us now journey into days 5 to 7, a sacred and transformative moment in the soul's pilgrimage, the encounter with the truth of one's life. My dear friends, imagine standing before a mirror, not of glass, but of divine light, where every moment of your existence is reflected back to you. This is not a judgment imposed by a distant deity, but a revelation born from within, what the mysterious manuscript calls the vision of reflected truth. In our faith, we are reminded of the words of St. Paul in 1 Corinthians, "For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face." This is the life review, a sacred reckoning where the soul relives its earthly journey, not as mere memory, but as a living experience. Every word you spoke, every deed you performed, every kindness you offered or withheld returns to you. You feel, as if for the first time, the joy you brought to others, the pain you caused, the love you shared, and the moments you turned away. It is as if you step into the hearts of those you touched, your family, your friends, even strangers, and feel their emotions as your own. The harsh words spoken in anger, the silent act of charity, the forgiveness you withheld or granted, all are laid bare. Time itself bends, for this is not a linear recounting but a tapestry of the soul woven with every choice you made. The Gospel of Matthew teaches us, for by your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned. Yet, this moment is not about condemnation, it is about understanding, about seeing clearly who you were and who you might yet become. Some souls, confronted by their shortcomings, sink into sorrow, overwhelmed by guilt or regret. Others, even in the face of their flaws, embrace this truth with compassion, recognizing that every mistake was a step toward growth. The difference, my brothers and sisters, lies in how we lived. A life steeped in prayer, in humility, in the pursuit of God's love prepares the soul to face this mirror with courage. The Book of Psalms sings, "Search me, O God, and know my heart, try me and know my thoughts." Those who sought such self-knowledge in life find this moment not as a burden but as a liberation, a chance to integrate, to heal, to forgive themselves and others. And there, in the quiet presence of spiritual guides, the soul is gently supported, reminded that this is not an end, but a beginning, a step toward greater light. As we move to days 8 to 10, the soul stands before a formidable passage, the threshold. This is not a place, but a state, a vibrational boundary where the soul must confront all that remains unresolved within it. Picture a valley, not of stone or earth, but of shadows cast by your own heart, fears that linger, guilt unhealed, attachments unloosed. The manuscript describes this as a territory of emotional density where the soul's burdens take form. Some see labyrinths, twisting and endless, others hear voices from the past, calling them back to pain or regret. For some, it is the face of a loved one they could not save, or the weight of a choice they cannot undo. This is the moment spoken of in Revelation where the sea gave up the dead that were in it, for here all that is hidden must be faced. This crossing is not a punishment but a purification, like gold refined in fire. The soul must pass through, not by force but by surrender. Free will, that sacred gift from God, remains even here. The spiritual guides stand near, not to carry the soul but to witness its courage, to offer silent strength. Those who lived with awareness, who faced their shadows in life through repentance and love, crossed this threshold with clarity, even if with pain. But those who clung to denial, who buried their fears or fed their pride, may falter, wandering in this liminal space, trapped by their own resistance. The Gospel of John reminds us, the truth will set you free. To cross the threshold, the soul must embrace truth, must let go of illusions, and trust in the divine mercy that awaits beyond. What does this mean for us, the living? It is a call to action, a summons to heal now. Every wound we mend, every forgiveness we offer, every prayer we lift to God lightens the load we will carry at this crossing. Do not wait, my friends, to make peace with your heart or with those you love. Live with intention, with faith, with the knowledge that every step you take in love is a step toward freedom in this sacred passage. Days 11 to 13 bring a moment of profound grace, the reunion with the ancestors. After the intensity of the threshold, the soul emerges into a lighter realm where it is greeted by presences both familiar and eternal. These are not only the grandparents or loved ones who have gone before, but the spiritual lineage of the soul, masters, healers, those with whom you share bonds across lifetimes. The book of Hebrews speaks of a great cloud of witnesses, and here they draw near, not to judge, but to embrace. This is a homecoming, a recognition that transcends words, where the soul feels the warmth of belonging to something greater than itself. Imagine the tenderness of this encounter. The soul, still fragile from its journey, is met with love that heals without question. Unspoken truths are reconciled, ancient wounds mended, inherited burdens lifted. The ancestors do not merely comfort, they guide, pointing the soul toward its next steps, reminding it of the spiritual inheritance it carries. In our tradition, we honor this connection through prayers for the departed, through the communion of saints, knowing that we are bound together in God's eternal love. This reunion is a reminder that we are never alone, that our lives are woven into a tapestry of souls, each thread strengthening the others. For the living, this moment calls us to cherish our families, to honor our heritage, to seek reconciliation with those who came before us. Light a candle, say a prayer, speak the names of those who have passed, for your love reaches them and their love returns to you. This is the mystery of God's family, where time and death cannot break the bonds of the heart. Let us now walk together through days 14 to 31, the final stages of the soul's sacred journey where choices are made, memories are released, and the eternal destiny is embraced. On days 14 to 16, the soul stands at a crossroads, a moment of profound freedom and responsibility. No longer clouded by denial, it sees clearly the paths that lie before it, not chosen with words but with the vibration of its very being. The manuscript speaks of 3 roads: the higher planes, where souls who have shed earthly attachments ascend to realms of universal love; the path of immediate reincarnation for those still bound to unresolved lessons or earthly ties; and the state of hesitation, where souls, unable to choose, linger near the physical world, wandering in shadows. This choice, my brothers and sisters, is not a decree from above, but a reflection of the soul's essence, shaped by every moment of its earthly life. As Jesus taught in the Gospel of John, "In my Father's house are many rooms," and the soul, through its vibration, finds the room that resonates with its truth. A soul that lived in love, in service, in communion with God, naturally gravitates toward the light, drawn like a moth to a flame. But a soul weighed down by fear, anger, or attachment may hesitate, its heart still tethered to what it left behind. Yet, even here, free will reign supreme. The soul can resist, it can surrender, it can call for help. The book of Proverbs reminds us, "The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps." This moment is the mirror of who we are, stripped of all pretense, standing naked before God's truth. What does this teach us? It calls us to live with intention, to cultivate a heart attuned to love and forgiveness. Every prayer, every act of kindness, every moment of silence before God builds the vibration that will guide us in this sacred choice. Do not wait, my friends, to align your soul with the divine. Live now as if each day were a preparation for this moment of eternal decision. From days 17 to 20, the soul enters the plane of memories, a tender and bittersweet farewell to the life it knew. Guided by its spiritual companions or its own awakened consciousness, it revisits the places and people that shaped its earthly journey. It sees the home where it laughed and wept, the faces of loved ones, the moments of triumph and pain. But this is not a journey of judgment as in the earlier days. It is a journey of letting go. The soul walks through these memories as if through a dream, their edges soft, their forms ethereal, like mist dissolving in the morning light. The Gospel of Luke speaks of the prodigal son who returned to his father's embrace. Here, the soul returns to its own story, not to cling, but to release. This stage is delicate, for strong attachments, unresolved loves, unhealed wounds, or duties left undone can bind the soul, keeping it tethered to the earth. Some linger, watching over children or partners, unwilling to depart. This is why our prayers, our masses, our rituals of farewell are so vital. They are not mere traditions, but acts of love that help the soul understand. Your time here is complete. You are free to move forward. For us, the living, this calls us to live with closure, to mend broken bonds, to speak words of love before it is too late. Every reconciliation now is a gift to the soul that will one day walk this plane of memories. On days 21 to 24, the soul enters a realm of pure wonder, the expansion of consciousness. Here, time dissolves and the soul begins to integrate all that it has been. No longer bound by the narrative of self, it sees with new eyes, understanding the purpose of its joys and sorrows, its victories and losses. The environment is no longer earthly but luminous, a space of pure energy where the soul floats, connected to presences of light, perhaps angels, perhaps the divine spark itself. Communication is not through words, but through a silent, telepathic knowing, where the soul feels seen, understood, and loved beyond measure. As St. John writes, "We shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is." In this realm, the soul remembers its origin, the mission it chose before birth, the reason it entered the world. Pain, once a burden, is revealed as a teacher, suffering, a chisel that shaped the soul's growth. The ego fades and the soul realizes it was never the role it played, but the actor, eternal and divine. This is a moment of gratitude where even the hardest moments of life are seen as gifts, for they awaken the soul to its true nature. For us, this is a call to seek God now, to pray, to meditate, to live with awareness, so that when we reach this plane, we may embrace it with joy, not fear. Days 25 to 27 mark the soul's preparation for its final destination, a process of energetic tuning. There is no heaven or hell imposed by judgment, but a natural law of resonance where like attracts like. The soul, now vibrant with the sum of its earthly choices and its journey after death, is drawn to the plane that matches its frequency. Lower planes, dense with attachment or fear, middle planes, where souls continue their learning in spiritual communities, or higher planes, where consciousness merges with universal love, ready for new missions or incarnations. The book of Galatians teaches, whatever one sows, that will he also reap. This is not punishment, but harmony, a mathematical and spiritual truth. No one decides for the soul, it places itself where it belongs, guided gently by spiritual beings who show the way. Yet, even here, the prayers of the living can lift the soul, raising its vibration in these final moments. This is why we light candles, why we offer masses, why we pray for those who have passed. Our love is a bridge, a final gift to help the soul find its place. For us, this is a reminder, you do not go where you wish, but where you are. Shape your soul now, through love, through faith, through every choice that draws you closer to God. Days 28 to 30 are the final shore, a time of semi-rational openness where the soul feels the plane that awaits it yet remains sensitive to the vibrations of the living. This is the moment when our prayers, our mantras, our acts of love have their greatest power. In our tradition, the 7th and 30th day masses are sacred windows where our intentions reach the soul, offering comfort, strength, or even salvation. The book of James tells us the prayer of a righteous person has great power. Light a candle, speak their name, send your love, it matters, it reaches, it heals. These final days are like the last breaths of a dive, where the surface is near, but the soul can still be pulled back. Our love is the current that carries them home. And then, on day 31, the veil closes. The soul fully enters the plane its vibration has chosen, and the cycle is complete. Death is not an end, but a harvest, a gathering of all that the soul has sown. The journey of 31 days is a testament to God's mercy, to the freedom of the soul, to the eternal continuity of consciousness. It echoes the words of Jesus in John, "I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live." My dear brothers and sisters, what does this journey teach us? It is a call to live with purpose, to love fiercely, to forgive generously, to seek God in every moment. The manuscript, hidden and burned, reveals a truth that cannot be silenced. The soul is free, and what we do now shapes not only our life, but the path we will walk beyond. Do not fear death, for it is not an end, but a beginning, a passage into the arms of the divine. So, I ask you today, live as if each day were a prayer, each act a seed, each moment a step toward eternity. Pray for those who have gone before us, for your love is their light. And prepare your heart, for the journey awaits us all. Let us walk it with faith, with courage, and with the unshakable trust that we are held, always, in the love of God. Amen.